So there's two interesting dynamics going on. The first is that the internet itself is created by the U.S. Department of Defense, and Google is a spinoff of Defense Department projects. So on the one hand, the internet is a function of the U.S. military. I mean, it's a spinoff of the U.S. military. It's a great one. We're glad to have it. But I think the U.S. military and the deep state and whatever, they felt like they had control over the internet until Trump, basically, or really maybe until ISIS around 2014, 2015. That's the first dynamic. The second dynamic is culturally, Silicon Valley is libertarian, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the Electronic Frontier Foundation. You have a libertarian ethos. Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, is very much a manifestation of that libertarian ethos. Mark Zuckerberg less. But even Mark Zuckerberg, after the 2016 elections, when everyone's accusing him of throwing the election to Trump, he's like, this is ridiculous. He's like, our own data doesn't support. There just wasn't enough. The Russians clearly did not have this influence. They just beat the crap out of him so much and threatened to take away their ability to operate, which is known as Section 230, which is this huge liability protection in the law that passed in 1996, which allows Google, Facebook, Twitter to exist.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
When you say they threatened to take it, like, in what way?
Directly. Directly. Including Biden himself. I mean, but basically Democratic politicians, they would just say, we're going to remove your Section 230 status. That's just like saying we're going to destroy your company. I mean, it's not.
And they were saying this because their assertion was that Russian disinformation and propaganda led to Donald Trump being elected.
Yes.
Being elected. And there was no evidence of this.
No, I mean, there was some evidence of it, but nothing.
Well, there was certainly evidence of like these troll farms.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, we know they exist.
Yes. Yeah, but it's trivial.
Yeah.
I mean, they would exaggerate. They would say things like, 146 million Americans had Russian propaganda in their news feeds. That's not the same as saying 146 million people saw the ads.
Right.
Because it's like your feed is, remember, that was social.
Of course.
Facebook has changed. So, yeah, I mean, there's three big disinformation campaigns that were run by, frankly, the U.S. government and their allies. The first was the Russia hoax, the idea that Russians controlled Donald Trump and won him the election. The second was the Hunter Biden laptop, and the third is that COVID that the idea that it's a conspiracy theory to even imagine that COVID could have emerged from a lab. There's others, including. We can talk about there was this effort to basically smear a bunch of ordinary conservative or Trump-supporting Twitter users as Russian bots.
Yeah.
But basically, you have active disinformation campaigns being run by the U.S. government and U.S. government contractors against the American people on these issues at the same time that they're demanding censorship. So you have propaganda on the one hand and censorship on the other.
Well, here's what appears to be dangerous to me. There doesn't seem to be any repercussions for doing these things. This is scary because it's shifting a narrative. So in step one, the Hunter Biden laptop, for example one rather, the Hunter Biden laptop, no one's in trouble, right?
No.
No one's in trouble. No one from the FBI is in trouble. No one loses their job. No one gets reprimanded. No one gets, brought before the American people and said, you failed us. Not only did you fail us, you betrayed us because you knew this was not true. And you allowed someone whose son has deep ties to both Ukrainian and Chinese companies that were paying him for influence. And it appears, at least by some of these emails, that some of that money went to the actual vice president of the United States, which is fucking wild.
Yes.
That no one is and then the crazy thing is, one of the things about having a right and a left is that whenever there's information that's inconveniently bad for that one side, particularly the left, you don't hear a fucking peep about it on the media.
Right.
It's dismissed. It's like, they'll talk about it like someone said someone talked about the Hunter Biden laptop and said it was like half fake. That was like a term.
AOC. AOC
half
said it.
fake. That's
Yeah.
right. That is such a horrible violation of the trust that the people who elected you put in you. You have access to all the information. You have access to that actual fucking laptop.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I have access to it too.
Yeah.
A lot of people have access to it. If you wanted to. I said I don't want to look at it. I was like, I don't want to look at that fucking thing. I don't want to see this guy getting foot jobs from hookers in Vietnam, smoking street crack. It's crazy. Whatever he did. But the fact that someone would say that's half fake.
Yeah.
No,
that itself is disinformation. It's important. That is a lie.
It's a lie.
It's disinformation.
But you're just saying it because if you can say it's half fake, you muddy the water, and now anybody that's looking at that could go, "Oh yeah, but that's half fake."
Yeah.
According to my side.
Right.
This is like the same people. There's still people that say that Trump was in bed with the Russians, which is how he won in 2016. There's people that still parrot that.
Oh yeah. Very close friends and family.
Oh yeah,
say that. I mean,
mine as well.
I know. Well, that's why I was happy to do your show, because literally, like, even my very close friends and family don't understand what I'm talking about, and I'm like, I want to go on Joe Rogan and just unpack this for them, to how serious this is. I mean, you have to remember the New York. I mean, and I'll put it on myself. I was so biased. The New York Post published the subpoena, which is a kind of receipt from the FBI showing they had taken Hunter Biden's laptop from this computer repair store owner in Delaware. It was published in the New York Post. They also published the receipt that has Hunter Biden's signature on it, saying that he had not only had left the laptop there, but also that it gave the computer store, the computer repair owner, the rights to it if he abandoned it. Hunter Biden never said it wasn't his. He never denied that it was his laptop.
Well, and subsequently, at least recently, he sued that guy for releasing the information, which the dumbest thing he could have ever done, because now all this half fake shit gets thrown out the window. Now he's saying it's his.
Right.